Ciao Bella, welcome to Bello Uncinetto. I'm Christina and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. We have a very long overdue episode of Fiber Facts with you. I'm so sorry. So many exciting things just pop up and then I did not keep to my schedule. However, we have this episode and potentially one more unless I get some more ideas, right? So I think maybe that may be part of my delay in doing this. I really enjoy these episodes and I really enjoy doing the research and finding all of these things, right? So if you are new here and you do not know about Fiber Facts with you, it was something that I started. I wanted to do like this day in crochet um way back when, but I did not. When I started looking at all of the like events and things that happened, there's not like a steady calendar, right? So it was like, okay, what am I gonna do instead? So I came up with looking at a timeline and I found two. So it's the history of fiber arts. This is one of the timelines, right? And then this it's upside down. This is the other timeline. So it's 2 pages. Well, it's in there. And so I've kind of been blending the two of them together because they kind of don't, well, they don't line up on some things. But one of them has information that the other one doesn't and vice versa. So I kind of used both of them to go through the history of fiber arts and look at different pieces of fiber arts in general as it goes through the centuries. So the last one I did was knitting a while ago. Again, I apologize. This one is crochet. Now, this is the one that's near and dear to my heart. This is the craft that I do. This is the craft that I love. But to be fair, there's not a lot on the history of crochet. A lot of the information that I found just kind of talks about the Irish lace part, and then it skips ahead to like the 1950s through the 70s, and that's really it. But there is more to it than that, and I did find I have 3 articles here. They will be linked in the description box because I am citing my sources, right? And I will be popping up some pictures as we go. So we know that crochet is a sister craft to knitting, right? But it actually begins from the ancient nail binding, which is a video I've talked about nail binding before, and there is no strict origin story for crochet, as in it originated from this country, it originated from this country, so forth and so on. But if we take all of the things that we have learned so far through this podcast about the different kinds of weaving and stitching and how all of that works, you can see how this craft could develop over time, right? Because you're pulling, let me just tuck that under there. You're pulling pieces from the different crafts and creating a new one, okay? So it says what we consider to be crochet today can be traced back to the 15th, 17th century. Where exactly is up for debate. Some people say France, some people say Ireland, some people say the Middle East, some people say England. There's so many. Italy and Spain are even thrown in there as well. But it appears in so many places all around the same time that it's really hard to nail down specifically where it starts. Okay. But because we didn't have synthetic fibers back then, right? Being able to date some of these and find them, because they're natural fibers, they disintegrate, they go back to the earth, right? That's what composting and all of that is. I mean, if somebody was buried in a wool suit, I mean, it's going to disintegrate. It's a natural fiber. I mean, that's just what happens. So you can't date them necessarily. Okay. But using things like the different stitches to create nets and lace, you can find different pieces of that sprinkled throughout the centuries. So we can talk about the first crochet pattern, and that's this article talks about here. This is from Darn Good Yarns, an article from Darn Good Yarn. So it says in 1829, the first crochet pattern was written, I'm going to butcher this name, by Mademoiselle Riego de la Branchardiere. It's French. I don't know. The daughter of a French father and Irish mother, she was known as the mother of crochet and is said to be the creator of the Irish crochet style. She published her book at 18, and it was about fiber and needlework. They all deal with the sort of lace doily structure, and it's not anything that would be considered a wearable or anything that would stand up to like daily heavy use, like washcloths or things like that. Those all came later. And that article, that's really all it says. When we get to those kinds of things, that's where we see that highlight of, sorry, I keep tapping my microphone. The 1900s, right, coming in with popular things for the home. So prior to that, while crochet was not super popular, Queen Victoria made it really popular in England because she was crocheting scarves for soldiers, and she purchased Irish lace and brought that to light. And so because the Queen was crocheting, a lot of people in England started crocheting. But the complicated stitches that we know today and all of that variety started coming around World War II, and we started seeing more of those home use items because you needed to be able to make things because there was not a lot of money. So you see the granny square and the granny stitch and all of that come about. And so there was this heyday that a lot of people think of for crochet between, I would say, the 50s and the 70s, right? It kind of exploded. You saw it everywhere. And then right around the time that I was born, right, in the 80s, you have this decline moving into the 90s. Again, even publication starts to decline with crochet. You don't get those pamphlets as much. You don't get all of those things. And then we have, right, machine knitting that's kind of taking over. Things starting trying to mimic crochet in fabric. It doesn't work, right, because crochet is one of the only things that machines can't imitate. It has to be done by hand. You can tell when something has been machine made to look like crochet. Um, but there have been people, even after we saw a big decline in crochet in popularity, people still crochet. Of course, I learned to crochet in the 80s because that's when I was born. So 80s and 90s is when I was learning to crochet. So it didn't die as an art form, obviously, but it was in a serious decline. We saw a big uptick when the internet came through in having our online crochet communities. The idea of yarn bombing came, and while people sometimes see that as like defiling things, um, because you're putting all of this synthetic yarn out, there are lots of natural fibers and lots of natural structures that you can make. And then we see in the 2010s, places like Etsy and Ravelry really taking off because now there are online patterns. So it's not just, oh, you need a pattern book, or a little pamphlet or something like that. You have all of these online patterns. So you don't have to buy a whole book if you just want to make one thing, right? Then you have the video tutorials with YouTube, and then we have the pandemic, right? When the pandemic happened, we didn't have the going out and going here and everywhere to keep people busy, right? Everybody, for the most part, was home. What are you going to do now that you're home and you literally cannot go anywhere? We see a huge swing in popularity for crochet, and it stayed pretty steady ever since, I think. But I love crochet, so what do I know? And it is coming back even in fashion. It's coming back. You can see there was the big thing with the Taylor Swift dress. You see it showing up in TV shows. I do have another series called Fiber Arts on Screen where you can see how crochet and fiber arts in general show up in TV, movies, that sort of thing. And there are even groups and people showing crochet on their streaming services in TV shows. So, crochet is amazing. It is, I mean, for me, it's given me so much joy, and the joy that I can bring to other people with crochet has been fantastic. I can make beautiful things, but I can also give people beautiful things. The people that I have met being on YouTube through the Yarny community have been amazing. I never would have met some of my dearest friends if I didn't have this community. So for me, crochet is more than just yarns and hooks and patterns. And I think for a lot of people, it is that way. And if it's not that way for you, if it is a solo activity for you, but you want to find a crochet community or a fiber arts community, I mean, just search. If there is like an art center near you, do they do classes? Do they is there a local yarn shop around that might do classes, that might have a stitch night? Any of those things would work, right? And then if you do want that community, you can find one, right? Even if you're here online and you're watching YouTube videos about yarn and crochet and fiber arts, um, there are amazing communities for all manner of fiber arts here on YouTube. And if you wanted to be a part of my YouTube family, I would be happy to have you. You can join the Facebook group. You can post things in the community here on YouTube. There's so many things that you can be a part of, whether you don't have something close to you to be part of a physical community, or you would rather just keep it to yourself and stay just on the online community. Um, Whatever works for you. So I hope that this has been a fun episode. It has been great for me to share this with you all again. And like I said, I have one more episode after this, unless there are other things that you want to see. If you want to go back through the Fiber Facts with You podcast and look at some of the things that I've done, if you want to talk about, or if you have questions about, well, what about this avenue of the craft, or what about this, whatever you would like to do, I would absolutely love to see your ideas in the comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Did you learn something? I learned something when I was researching, so I'm happy to share it with you. And hopefully it won't be so long before the next episode. And until I see you again, be well, be safe, and be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella.